I just like quickly built it just to be sure that there are no errors. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to see this is going to be a collection, right? Well, maybe not this one. This could be a single album, or you could have multiple albums by this artist, one artist here. But this probably is only by, unless they have volume one, two, three. Normally the title is unique, right? So all I want to do is I want to like send these to the view, and I want to see these queries in the view. So how would I do that? So I have view bag. View bag is the temporary storage where the controller and the view have access to it. So whatever I want to pass to the view, this is another way for me to send it. I could also send it as an object here. I could send like the entire album over here. That is also possible. So, but let me like show you how to send it through the view bag. So this is how, if you look at your code like index and all those places, the view bag had values set. So I'm going to like set albums. So I'm going to assume that albums by name is going to have like multiple values. So I'm going to send it as a select list. Look at select list. Definitely we need to have the collection that we are sending. Like data is needed, right? So let's first put the data. Where is the data for us? Like this query returned the data, right? And it returned it to this variable. So this is the variable that is our, if you look at select list, it's asking for enumerable items, right? So this is going to be our items, but there are more parameters. Then it says selected value. We'll come to that next. Let's look at the other overrides. This is very important. Okay, so when we like show a pick list with all the album names, what is going to be the display value on the screen, and what is going to be the data that we capture behind the scene. So if you think about the data value field for our album, that will be album ID. No matter like how we display album, our unique identifier is album ID. And what are we going to display? That will be title. So let's look at the fourth parameter for select list. This is going to be the selected value. So if you look at drop down boxes, usually they are defaulted to some value. So if we want to default it to a value, I'm going to say the very first entry on my list is going to be the value I want. So for that, what I have to do is what I'm saying here is pick the first album from this list. Whatever this query returns, that one, take that one and take the first entry in that, take its album ID and set that as the selected value. So this is what we are saying. So the question is, whatever we put in the view bag is accessible in the view. So we have view bag albums by name. So let us go here to our view. Let us go and create a drop down. This is called as HTML helper. So it needs a name for the drop down. Let's just call this albums, just for the sake of understanding how this whole thing works. I am here in my test method. I have 3 queries to start off with. So I'm just taking this first query. The others don't matter right now. These guys don't matter. So I'm taking my first query. I wrote a link query to select by a title called Stormbringer that is stored in this collection. And then I build a select list out of this, put it inside my view bag, and it has a name called albums by name. Okay, so so this is what I want to show you. It says there is no view data item of type select list item that has the key albums. What it is telling me is, okay, you're trying to pull something from my view bag, but this does not exist. I can get rid of this error by saying new select list. It needs some data, right? I can create a new select list and call it as a new select list. I'm just a little lazy to type all of this out there. So let me just show you. So instead of this, what I can do is I can say I want to create albums. I want to create a new list that has select list items, album 1, album 2, right? But this will not create, this will not show what we want. This is going to create a dummy albums drop down list, but it is not tied to our view bag. So this is not what we want, right? If you do this, you won't get an error. But right now we are getting an error because it's not able to find albums in the view bag. So what that tells us is, as long as you use the same name, this name, this is how we are passing the data. So you do a query, right? The results, you create them into a select list, throw that into a view bag, and use the same name in the view. This is acceptable. Now I won't get any errors.